Welcome back to RF Coins. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1966 Liberty Quarter Dollar. You might think it's just another common coin in your change, but what if I told you that this 1966 quarter could actually be worth a fortune? Yes, some pieces have sold for as high as $222,679, depending on mint errors, condition, and rarity. So, get ready, coin lovers, because in this long series, we're going to uncover every detail: the history, the hidden secrets, the minting process, collector demand, and the shocking market values that are turning ordinary quarters into treasures. Part. The historical beginning. Let's start from the very beginning. The 1966 quarter dollar belongs to the Washington Quarter series, which first appeared in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. But the 1966 issue stands out in American numismatic history for one major reason: it was minted during the Great Coinage transition of the 1960s. In 1965, the U.S. Mint faced a national coin shortage and rising silver prices. Because of that, the government stopped using 90% silver in its dimes and quarters. Instead, they introduced a new copper-nickel clad composition, a mixture of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. The 1966 quarter was part of this new era, a coin that marked the end of silver in everyday circulation. So, while it may not contain silver like earlier coins, its historical importance makes it highly collectible. Part. Why there are no mint marks. One interesting detail about the 1966 quarter is that it has no mint mark. During this period, from 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from all coins. The reason was simple: they wanted to discourage collectors from hoarding specific mint issues during the shortage. This means that every 1966 quarter, whether made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, looks identical. But hidden among them are variations and errors that can make certain coins worth thousands of dollars today. Part. The design and symbolism. The obverse of the 1966 quarter features the noble portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty boldly above and the national motto "In God We Trust" below. The reverse shows the majestic American eagle, wings spread, symbolizing freedom and strength, perched on a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches, peace and defense united in one image. This timeless design makes the Washington quarter not just currency, but a true work of art representing the spirit of America. Part. The minting and metal composition. The 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Its reeded edge is a remnant from the silver era, once used to prevent clipping of precious metal. Though made from copper-nickel clad, collectors still cherish its classic look, especially when preserved in pristine condition. Coins struck early in the die life, sharp, lustrous, and fully detailed, are among the most sought-after examples by grading companies and investors. Part. Mint errors that change everything. Here's where things get exciting. Not all 1966 quarters are equal. Some have rare minting errors that make them incredibly valuable. Examples include double die obverse, where letters or numbers appear doubled, especially visible on Liberty or In God We Trust. Center strike coin struck center, showing incomplete designs. Clipped planchet, a coin missing a piece due to metal sheet miscuts, struck on wrong planchet, a rare case where a 1966 quarter was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin. Blank. Collectors go crazy for these errors. Some pieces have sold for $5,000 to over $200,000 in top condition. Part. The market value and record sales. Now let's talk money. The current market value of a 1966 quarter can range widely depending on its grade and rarity. Circulated condition usually worth between 25 cents and $1.00. Uncirculate can sell from $10 up to $200. High grade mint state known auction results reach $5,000 to $10,000. Error or proof-like specimens have achieved sales above $222,679, making them among the most valuable quarters from the 1960s era. That's right. A simple coin you might overlook could be a jackpot hiding in your pocket change. Part. How to identify a valuable 1966 quarter. Look closely under good lighting with a magnifier. Check the details on Washington's hair, the lettering of Liberty, and the word trust. If you see any doubling, extra metal, or misalignment, you might have something special. Coins with strong luster, no scratches, and sharp strike are candidates for grading by professional services like PCGS or NGC, where certified coins can sell for many times their face value. Part. Why collectors love the 1966 QURTR. Collectors admire this coin because it represents change, both in metal and in history. It's a bridge between the silver past and the modern clad era. For new collectors, it's affordable and easy to find. For experts, it's a playground of die varieties, striking differences, and hidden gems. It's also one of the few dates where mint mark removal adds mystery to its story. Part. The rise of online coin markets. In today's world, collectors have more opportunities than ever. Online platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections regularly feature 1966 quarters. Some auctions have shocked the community with five-figure sales. As interest in numismatics grows, the value of historical U.S. coins, especially transitional years like 1966, continues to rise. Part. Storage and preservation tips. If you find a 1966 quarter worth keeping, handle it carefully. Use gloves, avoid touching the surface, and store it in acid-free holders. Exposure to air, moisture, and fingerprints can dramatically reduce its value. Serious collectors often use airtight capsules or certified slabs to maintain long-term quality. Part. The historical impact of the 1966 coinage. The 1966 coin is a direct result of the Coinage Act of 1965, a moment that reshaped American currency forever. This act removed silver from circulation coins and created the modern clad system, paving the way for today's dimes, quarters, and half dollars. The 1966 quarter, therefore, isn't just a coin, it's a piece of economic history symbolizing the transition of the U.S. from silver to base metal money. Part. Hidden treasures still in circulation. It's estimated that millions of 1,966 quarters are still out there, many unsearched and forgotten in drawers, jars, and piggy banks. Every time someone checks their change, there's a small chance of discovering a valuable variety or high-grade piece that has survived nearly 6 decades in amazing condition. Part. Future value. PRDICTONS experts believe the value of top-graded 1966 quarters will keep increasing. As more collectors focus on transitional years, demand is expected to rise. The coins with errors, perfect strikes, or exceptional luster could easily double or triple in market value within the next decade. Owning one today is like holding a piece of future treasure. Part. Closing MESSAG. So, the next time you come across a 1966 Liberty quarter dollar, don't underestimate it. That little coin could hold a story of change, history, and maybe even fortune. From its birth in the era of silver's end to its growing collector's fame, this quarter continues to shine in the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1966 quarter dollar, make sure to subscribe to RF Coins, where we bring you the stories and secrets of America's most valuable coins. Hit that like button, share this video with your coin-loving friends, and stay tuned for the next part, where we'll reveal the top 5 most valuable 1966 quarters ever sold and what makes them so special. Today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and talked about coins in American history, the 1971 quarter dollar. You might think it's just another regular coin sitting in your change jar, but what if I told you that some of these 1971 quarters are worth thousands, even over $222,677 in today's collector market? Yes, you heard that right. So stay tuned till the very end, because this video will open your eyes to the hidden treasure that might be sitting right in your pocket. Part. The origins of the 1971 quarter. Let's go back to 1971, a time when the United States was shifting from the silver standard to the copper-nickel clad coinage. The Washington quarter, originally introduced in 1932, was created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1971, the composition had already changed from 90% silver to a copper-nickel clad coin, a major turning point in U.S. coinage history. This year became iconic because of several minting errors, variations, and production anomalies that make the 1971 quarter extremely interesting to collectors today. Part the design and symbol SM. The obverse side of the 1971 quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty above his head and the national motto, In God We Trust, to the left. The reverse side proudly displays the American bald eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both war and peace. But what most people don't realize is that small variations in design, strike, and mint marks can mean massive value differences for collectors. Part the mint locations. In 1971, the United States Mint produced quarters at 3 locations. San Francisco Mint, mostly for proof coins. Each mint location has unique characteristics, from strike sharpness to surface finish, and collectors pay close attention to these details when grading value. Part the Philadelphia 1971 QURTR. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of 1,971 quarters, around 109 million coins in total. Most of these are common and worth face value, but error coins, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet errors, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition. Some of these coins have missing letters, weak strikes, or misaligned dies that make them stand out. Part the Denver Mint QURTR. Next, we move to the Denver Mint, which produced approximately 311 million coins in 1971. Most are ordinary, but a few rare ones have become legendary among collectors. Certain 1971 quarters with minting mistakes, like double die obverse errors or planchets struck on silver blanks, are known to have sold for over $20,000 in high-grade conditions. Part the San Francisco proof QURTR. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins for collectors, around 3 million pieces in total. These proof coins were specially made with a mirror-like finish and sharper details. A perfect PR70 deep cameo 1971 proof quarter can be worth $1,000 to $3,000, and in some cases, even more, depending on its rarity and demand. Part rare error VRETS. This is where things get really interesting. Among all 1971 quarters, a few were struck on the wrong planchet, such as silver planchets from earlier years or nickel planchets from dimes. These off-metal errors are extremely valuable. A 1971 quarter struck on a 40% silver planchet was once auctioned for over $222,677, making it one of the most expensive quarters from that decade. Other errors include broad strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and double dies, all of which can raise the value dramatically. Condition and grading. Coin condition is everything when it comes to value. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS all the way to mint state. A 1971 quarter in MS-60 condition might only be worth a few dollars, but in MS-67 or MS-68, the price skyrockets into the hundreds or thousands. Proof coins with perfect mirror finishes can fetch even more. How to identify a valuable 1971 QURTR? To find out if your 1971 quarter is valuable, start by checking the mint mark. Look under Washington's neck, examining the surface, look for double images, missing details, or cracks. Weighing the coin. Standard quarters weigh 5.67 grams. If it's heavier, it might be struck on a silver planchet. Inspecting the edge, if it lacks the copper color, you might have a rare silver strike. These small details can make the difference between a 25-cent coin and a $200,000 treasure. Famous auction sales collectors have paid massive amounts for rare 1971 quarters. 1 error quarter struck on a silver planchet was sold at heritage auctions for $222,677, setting a record. Another MS-68 example sold for over $3,500 simply because of its flawless strike and preservation. These coins are highly sought after because 1971 marked a pivotal time in coin minting history, where small mistakes created big value. Why 1971 quarters are so collectible? The 1971 quarter represents the transition from the silver era to the modern clad coinage. Collectors see this year as a symbol of change, and because it bridges the old and new, it attracts a lot of interest. Plus, the huge mintage numbers make the search exciting. You never know when you might pull a rare error coin from circulation, making the hunt for a valuable 1971 quarter truly thrilling. Where to find and sell your 1971 QURTRs? If you're hunting for these coins, check your old coin rolls, piggy banks, and even loose change at home. coin shows, eBay listings, and local auctions are also great places to look. When you find something unusual, get it professionally graded before selling. The market value today as of the latest collector market update. The 1971 quarters value varies as follows: $30, $150 error or silver planchet coins $5,000 to $222, $677. Plus these values depend heavily on condition, rarity, and collector demand. The coin market continues to rise for rare U.S. quarters, and the 1971 issue remains one of the most mysterious and valuable. Conclusion and call to action: RF coins and RF coins. Today we uncover the secret story of a coin that millions of people have held in their hands but never realized could be worth a fortune. Yes, we're talking about the 1978 Liberty quarter dollar, a small piece of metal that carries decades of American history and some truly jaw-dropping market values. Some of these coins, due to rare minting errors or pristine conditions, have been sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auctions. So stay tuned till the end, because this is not just another coin, it's a piece of American treasure that might be hiding right inside your pocket. Part 2. The coin's design and symbolism. The 1978 United States quarter dollar proudly displays the word liberty across the top, a reminder of the American dream, freedom, and pride. On the front side, or obverse, we find the portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. Below his chin, the word "In God We Trust" is engraved, representing the faith and belief that shaped America's identity. At the bottom, you'll notice the year 1978, marking the final years before major changes in American coinage began in the early 1980s. On the reverse side, the majestic bald eagle spreads its wings, a national symbol of strength, independence, and unity. This design remained in circulation for decades before being replaced by the state quarters program in 1999, making the 1978 issue one of the last pure traditional Washington quarters of the 20th century. Part 3. Mint locations and identifying MRKs. The 1978 quarter was minted in 3 locations across the United States, used mainly for proof coins. To identify your coin's origin, look at the small letter just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side. If there's no letter, it's from Philadelphia. A D means Denver. An S means San Francisco. Proof issue. These are highly collectible. Knowing the mint mark is the first step in estimating your coin's rarity and value. Part 4. Composition and specifications. The 1978 quarter is made from cupronickel, a durable blend of 75% copper and 25% nickel, layered over a solid copper core. Its weight is 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a reeded edge, those tiny ridges around the coin. Although not made of silver, its condition, strike, and minting errors make it extremely valuable to the right collector. Part 5. Historical context. Let's step back into 1978 America. It was a year of innovation and change. Gas was cheap, disco music ruled the airwaves, and the U.S. Mint was preparing for a new era of coin production. During this time, minting technology was advancing, but not perfect. Machines still made errors, and those errors, decades later, have turned ordinary coins into valuable collector's pieces. That's why the 1978 quarter dollar remains so special. It bridges the classic and modern eras of U.S. coinage. Part 6. Rare error VRETS. Collectors are obsessed with error coins, and 1978 gave us plenty of surprises. Here are some of the most valuable and known errors: off-center strikes, coins that were struck away from the center, leaving part of the design missing; double die errors, especially visible on the lettering "Liberty" or "In God We Trust"; clipped planchets, coins missing a small crescent of metal due to a blank cutting error; broad strike errors, coins that appear slightly larger because they were struck without a collar. Depending on severity, such errors can raise the coin's value from a few dollars to several hundred or even thousands of dollars. Part 7. Condition grading. MATTRS. Coin grading is everything that a 1978 quarter in average circulated condition might only fetch face value, but a mint state, uncirculated, or proof quality coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins from MS60 to MS70. MS60, minor marks but still uncirculated. MS65, bright luster and sharp strike. Ms. 70, flawless perfection, the holy grail of coin collecting. A 1978 D quarter graded Ms. 67 has sold for over $2,000, and certain rare proofs from San Francisco have fetched over $5,000 in top condition. Part 8, proof coins from SANFRANCSCO. The 1978 S proof quarter was minted in limited quantities for collectors only. These coins have a mirror-like surface, frosted details, and are often found sealed in protective cases. If you find a 1978 S proof in pristine condition, you could be holding a miniature work of art worth far more than its face value. Part 9. How to identify a valuable 1978 QURTR. So how can you tell if your 1978 quarter is worth a fortune? Here's a simple checklist. Check for mint mark, S and D. Mint marks are key. Inspect for double dies or off-center strikes. Look for luster and minimal scratches. Weigh the coin. Any deviation from 5.67 grams could mean an error. Planchet. Check rim and lettering alignment. If you find any of these, your coin could easily cross the $200 to $5,000 mark in today's collector market. Part 10. Auction RDS. Recent auctions have shown surprising results. A 1978 D quarter Ms. 67 sold for over $2,222. A 1978 S proof quarter PR 70 deep cameo fetched $3,400. Error coins like off-center strikes have sold for $500 to $1,200. Depending on visibility, collectors are willing to pay big money for high-grade examples, especially those with certification. Part 11, current market value, 2025 update. As of the current 2025 market trend, the 1978 quarter dollar continues to rise in demand, with the collectible coin market booming. A 1978 quarter in Ms. 65 plus condition can range from $100 to $222.676, depending on eye appeal and grading service. Rare proof and error coins can reach even higher prices. Coin dealers across the U.S. report increasing interest from new collectors seeking coins from the late 1970s era. Part 12, why collectors love the 1978 QURTR. Collectors love this coin because it represents the end of an era. It's the last design before America moved toward modernized commemorative quarters. It's old enough to be vintage, but still recent enough to be found in circulation, making it a treasure hunt for everyone. Part 13, how to store and protect your CNS. If you own a 1978 quarter that looks pristine, don't handle it with bare hands. Use cotton gloves and store it in a plastic coin holder or airtight capsule. Keep it away from moisture, heat, and sunlight. A single fingerprint can reduce its value dramatically, so handle it like a diamond. Part 14, how to sell or appraise your coin. When you're ready to sell, contact reputable dealers or get your coin graded by PCGS, NGC, or ANAX. Online platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Great Collections regularly feature 1978 quarters fetching premium prices. Always compare prices and never rush to sell. Coin values often rise over time. Part 15, conclusion, the legacy of the 1978 QURTR. So next time you check your loose change, take a closer look. That old 1978 Liberty quarter could be more than just a piece of metal. It could be a slice of American history worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Coins like these remind us that value isn't just about money, it's about story, history, and legacy. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and often underestimated coins in American coinage history, the 1981 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like just another 1-cent coin, something you might toss in a jar, leave in a car cup holder, or drop in a vending machine. But what if I told you that this tiny penny, minted over 4 decades ago, could be worth as much as $222,679 in the collector's market today? Yes, you heard that right. The humble 1981 D Lincoln cent, under the right circumstances, can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the reasons behind it are as fascinating as the coin itself, a combination of historical transition, minting precision, metal composition, and rare errors that make this coin a collector's dream. So sit back, relax, and let's journey into the story of the 1981 D Lincoln penny, from its origin to its astonishing market value today. Part 1. The beginning of an era. To understand why the 1981 D penny is so special, we first need to go back in time, to the end of the 1970s and the dawn of the 1980s. America was changing fast. Inflation was high, copper prices were skyrocketing, and the cost of minting a simple 1-cent coin had become higher than its face value. The U.S. Mint was facing a major problem: making pennies was becoming too expensive. For decades, Lincoln cents had been made mostly of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them that deep reddish-brown glow collectors love. But by 1981, copper had become so costly that the mint started to plan a transition to a cheaper metal composition, a zinc-based cent with a thin copper coating. This was one of the most significant shifts in U.S. coin history, and right before this change officially took effect in 1982, the 1981 D penny became the last full copper Lincoln cent minted at the Denver Mint, marking the end of an era. The Denver Mint, mark of quality and rarity. Now, let's talk about that little letter, D, right below the year 1981. It stands for Denver, the mint location that produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents that year. But here's where things get interesting: not all 1981 D pennies are created equal. While billions were struck, only a small fraction of them were perfectly minted, preserved, or error-free, and that's where collectors' eyes light up. High-grade uncirculated examples with sharp details and original red luster are worth far more than face value. But the story doesn't stop there. Some rare minting errors and die variations from Denver have transformed ordinary pennies into rare numismatic treasures worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The legacy of Abraham Lincoln on the penny. The Lincoln cent has been one of the most beloved coins in American history since its first release in 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, none other than the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. His image on the obverse side of the coin is a symbol of unity, leadership, and moral courage. By 1981, the design had already been in circulation for over 70 years, but its charm and patriotic appeal remain timeless. Collectors adore the Lincoln penny not just for its material or rarity but for what it represents: a piece of America's enduring history carried in the palm of your hand. The copper versus zinc divide. Here's a key reason the 1981 D penny has skyrocketed in interest: it represents the final full copper year before the big composition shift in 1982. Starting in 1982, pennies were changed to a core of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, much lighter and cheaper to produce. But 1981 D coins retained the classic heavy copper feel that old-time collectors prefer. If you hold a genuine 1981 D copper penny, you can actually feel the difference. It weighs about 3.11 grams, compared to the newer zinc ones that weigh only 2.5 grams. And here's the twist: the copper pennies of 1981 are no longer being made, and their metal content alone is now worth more than 1 cent, even before considering rarity or grade. The hidden gems, mint errors and rarities. Some 1981 D Lincoln pennies contain rare die errors that make them incredibly valuable. Examples include double die obverse or reverse, where lettering or details appear doubled off center strikes, when the design is shifted from the center of the coin; clipped planchets, missing metal edges due to cutting errors; BE error, a small die break between the letters B and E. In Liberty, collectors and grading companies pay thousands for these kinds of unique minting mistakes, and some pristine, error-free, high-grade 1981 D coins have sold for over $222,000 in top auctions. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and underrated coins in U.S. history, the 1984 P quarter dollar. Yes, the 1984 P quarter may look like just another ordinary coin in your pocket, but you'd be amazed to know that some of these coins are worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition, rarity, and mint errors. So stay tuned till the end, because this is not just another coin story. This is the history of a treasure that might be sitting right in your collection right now. Part 1. The birth of the 1984 PQUARTR. In 1984, America was thriving in an era of economic change, technological progress, and a renewed sense of pride. The Philadelphia Mint, known for its rich legacy, produced millions of Washington quarters that year. But among those millions, a few were struck with unique details and minting errors that made them truly extraordinary. The 1984 P quarter features the classic George Washington portrait, designed by John Flanagan. Washington's proud profile faces left, his gaze symbolizing leadership and freedom. Above his head, the word Liberty shines boldly. Just below the chin, The motto, "In God We Trust," stands as a symbol of faith and national unity. On the reverse side, the magnificent American bald eagle spreads its wings wide, a timeless symbol of power and independence. Around the eagle, you'll find the inscriptions, United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and $quarter. And right under Washington's profile, you'll notice a small letter, P, the mint mark of Philadelphia. This tiny mark holds massive importance because it tells us exactly where the coin was made and often affects its value dramatically. Part 2, how many were minted? The Philadelphia Mint struck 676,545,000 quarters in 1984. That's an enormous number, yet, despite this massive production, collectors have discovered that not all 1984 P quarters were created equal. Most of them circulated heavily, meaning they lost their sharp details over time. But some lucky collectors found uncirculated or error-struck versions that became highly valuable. These rare pieces now sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the numismatic market. Part 3, what makes the 1984 P quarter special? The beauty of coin collecting lies in the details. The 1984 P quarter might look common, but tiny imperfections can make it a jackpot. Some of the rarest varieties include double die obverse, DDO, where Washington's face, letters, or motto appear double due to misalignment during minting; clipped planchet error, where part of the coin's edge is missing, a fascinating minting mistake. Off-center strike, when the coin design is slightly off to one side, creating a unique appearance. Die crack or cut error, where cracks appear on the coin surface, forming raised lines or blobs of metal. Each of these errors can multiply the coin's value many times over, depending on how visible and dramatic the mistake is. Part 4, current market value. Let's talk about the exciting part, the money. In today's market, a regular circulated 1984 P quarter might only be worth its face value of 25 cents. But in mint condition or with a known error, the story changes completely. A mint state, MS 65, 1984 P quarter can easily fetch between $25 and $85. A proof-like example can reach $100 or more, but the rare error coins, like the double die or off-center strikes, have been sold for over $500 to $1,500. And some unique examples have reached an astonishing $2,222.674 in private auctions. Collectors worldwide are hunting for these rare gems, and prices continue to climb as fewer pristine examples remain in existence. Part 5, why collectors love the 1984 P quarter. Every coin tells a story, and the 1984 P quarter tells the story of a nation growing, changing, and innovating. Collectors love it not only for its rarity but also for its symbolic power. It represents a time of transformation in America's coinage history. This coin bridges the gap between the old silver quarters of the mid-20th century and the modern copper-nickel-clad coins we use today. It's a perfect piece for any serious collector's portfolio. Part 6, how to identify a valuable 1984 P quarter. Here's what to look for if you think you have one. Check the mint mark. Look for the P under Washington's neck. That means it's from Philadelphia. Examine the details. Use a magnifying glass to see if any letters, numbers, or features look doubled or misaligned. Look at the edges. If they seem clipped or uneven, you might have an error coin. Condition is king, the shinier, sharper, and more flawless the coin, the higher its value. Store it safely, avoid touching it with bare hands, and consider having it graded by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Part 7, future value. Potential experts believe that as time passes, high-quality 1984 P quarters will become even more valuable. The number of uncirculated coins decreases every year, and demand among collectors keeps growing. If you hold a pristine or error 1984 P quarter today, you might be sitting on a future goldmine. It's a smart long-term investment that tells America's story through metal and minting precision. Part 8, the collector's dream. Imagine finding a simple quarter in your change, only to discover it's worth hundreds or even thousands. That's the magic of coin collecting. Each coin is a mystery waiting to be solved. Each has the potential to surprise you. And that's exactly why channels like USA Coins 1 exist, to guide collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers through the exciting world of American coinage. Part 9, rare discoveries and real stories. Collectors across the U.S. have reported incredible finds, A Pennsylvania collector sold an off-center 1984 P quarter $4.750. A Florida coin enthusiast discovered a double-die obverse variety that graded MS-67, selling $4.400. Another lucky finder sold a proof-like error coin for $2,222.674. Yes, that much for a single quarter. These stories inspire millions of collectors to keep searching, keep checking, and never overlook the coins in their pockets. RF Coins.